Vediamo se si può anche registrare. Allora, siamo live sia su Facebook che su YouTube.
Siamo già pronti.
Siamo live.
Se iniziamo ora va bene.
E peso di microfoni basta accendere, ovviamente.
Tutti e due funzionano. A tenerle spente, no? Se no perdono. Abbiamo pile.
Sa che questi dovrebbero essere ricaricabili, quindi occhio di fare.
Se tenerle uno.
Senti, io non bevo il registrare. Già si sta caricando, che non è abbastanza lungo il cavo. Ora sì, ora. Allora, andiamo a vedere
I'll go and register myself. Register. I'll go and register.
All right, we're singing a 5-minute warning on the beginning of the conference, so get what you need, settle down.
The bar, like the law bar. Not the,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Where's your mind?
I thought it was like working out.
Oh, the bar. Bar. Lawyers all part of the bar test. We thought of kind of gin. We thought of drinking at the bar.
I wish I did not do it. You know,
Oh, now sure. I'll go back.
Here's the value of
Still, you're yeah. They far away. Proviamo qualcosa dietro che non sia il bar classic.
il bar.
Cosa metti io? Well, who's pen on they send it to whoever that pen. Yeah, I want them to organize their own.
Got it, yeah. I know. I think going back to morning. How are you?
Gonzaga.
Jason, considera che lo spazio inquadrato è praticamente quello del tavolo, quindi se stai di lato al tavolo non
Ok, bene sapere.
parlare davanti al tavolo. This is okay. This one.
Who's your panel chair? She's organizing for your PowerPoint.
Okay.
Stay in this area because the video is
The table is you guys are in. So now you're out.
Yeah, I'm out now. I'm out now.
So right next to the table and within the table.
Yes.
That's
The
where you
Jason's,
are live.
Jason's is good.
Jason's perfect.
Good. I will move there.
Jason is
Yeah, Jason's perfecto.
And it's being recorded, by the way. It's being recorded. Also, Jason, if you want to quick test of the volume, it's okay.
Io inizio a parlare se dovete che
Okay, good morning, everybody. I see that the espresso maker is starting to cool down, so you're all carichi, ready to go for a long day of hopefully stimulating ideas and thoughts and exchange. Again, my name is Jason Houston. I am the Dean of Gonzaga in Florence, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to this 8th annual Human Rights Conference sponsored by Gonzaga University, Gonzaga Law, and Gonzaga in Florence. My goal today is to give you some practical information about the building, the way the day is going to go, to give you a sense of my idea why Florence is the perfect place to be talking about the issues that this conference today is addressing, and also to offer a few thoughts about, from my own perspective, which is a bit different from the theme, but I'm a professor of Italian, medieval Italian poetry. So my perspective may come from far distant, but I want to offer a very few words about that, about the questions of AI and human dignity that come from what I teach and what I think about day to day when I'm not fixing sewage problems. So practical information. The building is open and at your access during the entire conference. There are bathrooms located on every floor of the building in the same physical location. So on the right side of the building, in the middle on every floor is a set of bathrooms that are, you walk in and there's different areas for men and women. So don't be shy about walking in the bathroom from the corridor. Once you're in the bathroom, they're marked or not marked according to ancient definitions of gender. What else can I say? We have, during the conference, we have a coffee break that we'll be running, meaning, well, it's not really a break. You can use it anytime. We would probably want to keep the use of the espresso machine lower during when people are speaking, so as to not interrupt, but there are snacks. There'll be a lunch break, at which time we will ask you probably to, depending on the weather, by the way, our quest for weather improvement seemed to have worked, to maybe take your seat out and use some of the tables, or do whatever, however you want to use it, but then bring your chair back for the rest of the conference. We have a limited number of chairs, but there are plenty of tables out there. There are other spots around the building where you can use to have lunch and take a little bit of break. And then at the end of the conference as well, we're going to have another aperitivo like last night, a little bit heartier in terms of food. to send you on the way happy with full bellies and full minds at the end of the conference. My colleague Elisabetta, Senara, Celia, and Guido is around as well. He's our tech guy. Are here if you have any questions about the building or any other things that come up during the day. So why are we here in Florence? Why does it make sense to speak about AI and human rights and human dignity here in Florence? Well, I think it's the perfect place to talk about this question. And I want to begin with a quotation, a citation of something a former mayor of Florence said, a very interesting person named Giorgio Lapira. Giorgio Lapira is known as the Saint Mayor because Giorgio Lapira was a Dominican. He was an actually living, breathing Dominican monk who left the monastery to take on a political role. And so he's one of these quintessential, I would say, post-war Italian figures that brings together a number of different spheres of influence that we as Americans, or not all of us Americans, might seem strange. Very religious, very far left on the political scale, and very spiritual. And the mayor of a town that has all sorts of problems that towns have. And he, by the way, our building is located on Via Giorgio Lapira. So you're on his street right now. And he was also very central to the reason why Gonzaga University is here. Because he was mayor of Florence in the late 50s, early 60s. And among the many initiatives that he imagined on a kind of global scale, he was a globalist amongst all these other things he was. Far left, a Dominican monk, a mayor of a city. He made Florence the international city of peace. And he started bringing mayors from cities around the world, particularly cities that were in conflict, to Florence to start to talk about the idea of peace. And he saw Florence as a place where these kind of conversations could happen, where the city, renowned as the cradle of the Renaissance, should accept that role and be the place for discussion about human dignity in all of its various forms. The city that produced people like Dante Alighieri, the poet, Michelangelo, Pico della Mirandola, who wrote a Renaissance treatise called On Human Dignity. This city had produced that strain of thought that we might call humanism. I spoke about this briefly last night. That is the center of our mission as a Jesuit, humanistic, Catholic institution. The question of the human at the center. And Florence, to him, represented the city in the world that has done that the best, has thought about the position of the human in relationship to the divine in some different ways, but also the world, nature. It was here that Poggio Bracciolini rediscovered De Rerum Natura, on the nature of things, the great classic treatise. So this is a place where we consider these questions. And Giorgio Lapira said this about Florence, and he said this about where we are right now. He said, and I'm translating on the fly here, Florence is the center of the world. The convent of San Marco, which you can see right there, it's about 50 meters. Now that building is not the convent. Sorry, it's a building right across the street from us. Is the center of Florence. And the painting known as the Annunciation by Fra Angelico, Beato Angelico, which is frescoed in the center of San Marco, is the center of that convent. Therefore, Florence, San Marco, and the Annunciation are the center of the world. And he believed that. And he believed that so much that amongst the many initiatives that he undertook to bring people to Florence, to continue the tradition of thinking about the human, he was on an active mission to recruit American and other international universities to use Florence as a place for their students to come and experience that special aspect of human and divine. He was mayor in the end of the 50s and in the early 60s. Gonzaga in Florence's first year was 1963. Florida State's first year, 1963. Cal State's first, there's a number of other universities who started at that time because of this mission of this one man to reconceive the Renaissance idea of Florence as a contemporary mission for us. And a modern society with the issues that were happening in the late 50s, which seem so different and so long ago, but in many ways are the same, the questions of technology, the questions of war and peace, which are so at the forefront of where we are today and what we're discussing today. So I'm happy and proud that Gonzaga and Florence can host this in a long tradition, a very long tradition, 70 years, but also 700 years, of this city being at the center of asking important questions and offering different perspectives in response. So bringing together young people, bringing together thinkers and scholars from around the world to Florence, 50 meters away from the center of the world. We're not quite in the monastery of San Marco, but we're pretty darn close. Is fulfilling Giorgio Lapira's vision, but also some random Jesuit's vision at Gonzaga University 60 or 70, 60 some years ago, to take up that invitation to be a part of the mission of bringing people to consider questions, important questions in Florence. And so this conference, I think, is part of that. It's part of Gonzaga University's mission, Gonzaga and Florence's mission, to bring people together in humanistic discussion. And so, as a professor of medieval Italian poetry, I confront AI and humanity mostly in the classroom. Like many, I confront AI and humanity mostly in the classroom. Like many of my colleagues teaching, especially in the humanities, as a previous provost of Gonzaga University told me, hey, I'm a physicist. We've had calculators for a long time. This problem of AI for humanities teachers is new, but it's been something that's been around the academia for a while, that students can just produce work at the click of a keyboard. So this is the way I mostly have been, which is a very banal, mundane problem of pedagogy. How do I assign students to do original thinking when a machine can generate that in a click of a button? But reflecting a little bit more about today, about this conference, about what I can bring to perspective in setting us off, I want to talk a little bit about poetry, about language. And I refer back to another great Italian thinker, a little bit further distant than Giorgio Lapira, a philosopher trained as a jurist, who was fighting a battle against Descartes in the 18th century, a guy named Giambattista Vico, who was a global thinker. And very important, I think, for the history of legal hermeneutics, which is far away from my own field. And Vico considered law through history, which was one of the ways he looked at creating what he called a new science of poetic knowledge, poetic wisdom. And he defines poetry in what he calls the heroic age, so the age up through the Middle Ages, let's say Homer and Virgil and all these classical poets up into the Middle Ages. He defines poetry as heroic law. Poetry is the expression of language that creates power, creates meaning, and creates authority in the age before formal law. And why is that germane to the discussion that you're about to undertake today? Because it puts at the center of human ingenuity language. And AI is developing out of these large language models, which are closing our system of language generation. We talked about artificial intelligence in human rights 4 or 5 years ago. And the keynote speaker there brought this to my attention and to everyone's attention, that AI is a closed system that generates meaning out of existing forms, that doesn't allow for the creative mistake of poetry. Because poetry in its original and best form that Vico was talking about when he talked about poetry as heroic law was the way that humans adapt knowledge to their present circumstances and express it through novel meaning. This novel meaning has to fly in the face of given language forms. And poetry, metaphor, is the creation of meaning through language that's new, that's different, that has never been seen before. And so when I teach poetry, I'm teaching students that to make a mistake with language is potentially to create a new meaning. And if you're relying on language models that are based on a closed system, and it could be as much information as we want to put in it, it's still a closed system, you're only going to recreate meaning that already exists. You're not going to generate new meaning. Now, I know that AI has moved ahead, and there's what's called generative AI, and I don't know much about it, so perhaps I can be convinced that AI can create new meaning. But I don't believe so, yet. Maybe I'll learn something today. But what I want to throw out there is that what we as people who read and write and think about poetry offer to this discussion, and then hopefully will provide some interest to those today, is that when, back to my original idea about AI and teaching, what I look for now in student papers that can be in one way or the other kind of generated through a conservative closed system of AI, language models, is I look for their creative mistakes. I look for a place where AI couldn't have come up with it because it's wrong in a very particular way. It's wrong in a way that only the human brain can be wrong, creatively. And this is the creation of new meaning. This is poetry. The word poetry comes from the Greek poesis, which means to create meaning. When in the Old Testament, Adam is going around giving names to things, he's a poet. He's creating meaning through language. And so I hope that as we consider, and you all consider, much more technical aspects of AI than I'm talking about now, that's why I love being a humanities professor, I can just go off, is that we consider the place of the human at the center of these questions, technical or less, about meaning and law. And remember also Vico's idea that law itself is a human creation. It's a factum. It's a thing made by people, not a verum, not a divine truth expressed. And that we, as we're doing in this conference, keep at the center of the discussion of AI and its impact on human dignity, the human ability to be creative and to make up, even in error, new meaning. So maybe that was interesting, maybe not, but you gave me a chance to think about it, to express a little bit of poetry at the beginning, or poetic thought at the beginning of this lesson. So I welcome everybody again. I wish us all a good day. I'm here as well for any questions that anybody has about the building, as well as my team right there. And before I give up the microphone to Upendra, I'd like you all to thank my team right there, who've been working very hard for this day, and also Susan back in the last year, to make this a great experience. So without further ado, I'd like to hand the microphone to Upendra, my colleague, my partner in crime over so many years, and hear his thoughts about this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. I don't know how much I made that Italiano. Thank you very much, Jason. And first of all, I would like to thank everyone, all the students. Thank you very much for being here on time, in time. and being ready to accept the challenge of learning a new challenge, that the concept of AI that have been that has been in practice, that we're all ready. So it's a brave thing to do. And a little bit skepticism, a little bit fearfulness, a little bit enthusiasm, and all of us are with all that, knowing or unknowing, intentionally or unintentionally, we have been using AIs, and AI is our life, part of our life. So now, after students, I would like to thank all our distinguished speakers that we have come from different countries, from China, Greece, India, Israel, South Africa, uh, Cyprus, Italy, and the United States of America. And all the distinguished speakers, thank you very much again for coming and to taking this challenge to teach us very difficult concept. We are ready to learn. Another, I would like to thank you. Without the help of all our colleagues here in Gonzaga, in Florence, impossible. And then Susan Lee, Dr. Lee from Gonzaga University School of Law, and our professors who have come here to teach and help us advance and to make it smooth, this conference and every program here. Professor McPeak, Agnes McPeak, Professor Jason Gilmer, Professor Ryan Lincoln. Everybody, thank you very much for all of your help. And we have few attendees, one from New Zealand, that she came here because she thought that it is a very interesting conference and she could learn something. She is a very experienced attorney and she's here from New Zealand, and we are having, I think that she's already here from Albania. Are you here yet? I think she is still coming. So the legal advisor, senior legal advisor to the Albanian Supreme Court. So she'll be coming here too. And thank you everyone. Now, this conference, this is the 8th annual Human Rights Conference of Gonzaga University School of Law, partnering with Gonzaga in Florence. And we have been doing this every year. And we are very grateful. The law school is not only thankful, but grateful to Gonzaga in Florence, to Gonzaga University, Gonzaga School of Law, and there are a few other partners, Center for Civil and Human Rights. The Professor Gilmer is the director and he leads that center, and he has been very good support every time. And Professor Jason Gilmer and Professor Jason Houston, both, who without their help, this conference would not have been possible. And when we send this for the CFP, call for papers, we solicit very few papers, but mostly the papers are selected out of competition. The abstracts are submitted, and then American Society of International Law, the British Society of International Law, and Asian Society of International Law, Singapore office. All these offices, they do our jobs to spread the word to the world that there is a conference going on and abstracts are called for. That is how we gathered, we collect our abstracts, and that is how we can make it truly international. And that is the reason, because I am part of the Asian Society of International Law Singapore office. So the Asian Society of International Law, a special human rights interest group that I chair, that is also a co-sponsor of this conference has been. So all the sponsors, thank you very much. And you are not only sponsor, we are the partner in crime, and we have been committing very good crimes. So, and now I have a little chit sheet on AI that I would like to tell you. this is, our dean, Professor Jacob Rooksby. I like to be professor every time, so, And so he and I, we discussed about few alternate options of the team, and we thought that this would be the best topic. Now, will be after a couple of years, a few years intervals, will come up again with the same concept, because even not only me, a layman who knows nothing about AI, I'm not a science background guy. Jason brought very good aspects of technology and literature and poetry. I'm not a poet either. I'm a lawyer, dry guy, law professor. So, but anyway, even AI people, that is what I've learned. The many AI computer scientists, quantum physicists, they don't know where the future of AI is going. Nobody knows. Nobody knew when ChatGPT 1 or 2 came, and so in short span of time, the ChatGPT 4 would come and do a kind of revolution. Nobody knew that. From 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, who knows what is going to happen? This is AI. So AI is a transformative shift from traditional technology. A logic-based programming. Humans develop every line of code and the process from input to output. In theory, transparent to inspection means the program can be mathematically proven to be safe or friendly, and inspectable. To super intelligent technology, creating AI agents that use ordinary programming and black box tools like genetic algorithms and neural networks, as well as the sheer complexity of cognitive architectures. And we have great architectures today to present the paper. We are going to learn from them too, with different contexts maybe. And we get an unwavability. This is the fundamental to AI systems, the unwavability with all that. That is the fundamental system. When AI system uses neural net or genetic algorithm, we will face the problem of inscrutable, means we will not be able to understand or predict its operation and can never be available. This is the characteristic of AI we are in now. The highly interconnected grid communications networks that my students in human rights class, that they know the blockchains, grids and transformer now. I hope we have discussed that. And so this within the cyber ecosystem can easily produce the risk of intentional and accidental communication disruptions, and can result in a huge human disaster scenario where not only the list of our human rights may be violated, our existence with dignity and worth. Would be in crisis. We will be most probably slaved or bonded to the AI agents in the future. Who knows? In this context, evolution of AI concerns every aspect of human life where data play a crucial role, not ethics or morality. Algorithms can automatically reflect all the possible discriminations present in the data from that they learn. In automated decisional process, robotics not only can operate combat drones, but also can involve algorithms that process personal data, and that through a distorted and uncontrolled use of them can violate many aspects of human lives, particularly an illicit uses of personal data by intelligent systems. It is possible to find a gap in regulations, that means laws, and protection. Because AI, without safety net, does not understand or can ignore all the human cognitive processes, but only deals with problem solving. EU Parliament has already laid down, I think first time in 2017, if I'm not wrong, recommendation for the concerning norms of civil rights regarding robotics. 2017 is the first time, I think. Am I? Okay, thank you. In this, a general theme has been indicated that an AI and robotic technology, human capacity should be integrated rather than substituted. This is essential if society wants that AI accelerates a better scientific progress. There must be ethical or legal dimensions to AI technology that acquires data, develops, and deploys data. Symbiotic autonomy is preferred to overcome any legal and ethical dilemmas in the future. AI has been being advanced at least and at almost incomprehensible speeds and used by corporations and governments who have brazenly disregarded its potential impact and have made flout attempts at sufficient legal standards and show no signs of meaningfully guarding its impact. We haven't seen that yet. AI has already been used in facilitating mass surveillance, as well as perpetuating biases in the criminal justice system, healthcare, education, job markets, access to basic needs, thereby exacerbating discrimination against already marginalized groups. Now, this is the challenge this conference poses, and we are ready to learn from our speakers how those ignored, unvalued, or less valued, marginalized people, where the digital divide is so strong in the world, less than 2 billion people don't have internet access in the world now. And we're already talking about AI technology, AI, generative AI. Not only that, many AI people that like NVIDIA kind of thing, the chip technology that brings the advanced form of AI technology and trying to get into a superconscious AI. Many quantum physicists are working on that one. Even Ben Rose, that received Nobel Prize in quantum physics, the mathematician, physician, quantum physician. So he admits that there is going to be a superconscious AI, and that is the machine and the universe sync, the nexus between the machine and universe, where all the energy sources and consciousness, the sources of consciousness for the universe, will be borrowed and embedded into conscious AI. If that is the case, who knows, the human being will be put in ghetto with little capsule that will have to suffer from any appetite. So, having said that, thank you very much again. And we have a very exciting day coming up, and we are going to learn a great deal from our speakers. And I am here with you, all the students. I'm a student of AI too, AI and law and human rights. So I'm learning. Everybody, we all are learning, I think, on this one. So thank you very much again. I would like to now introduce our Professor, Academic Dean McPeak, Professor McPeak, Agnes McPeak, to say something about it and to talk about our tools.
Great, thank you. So I actually, I'm standing up here as Dean Brooksby. I'm going to read prepared remarks from Dean Brooksby, who unfortunately could not be here. So when I say I, Dean Brooksby. Okay. Although I very much agree with everything he has to say, but I'm not taking any credit for it. I'm just the messenger. Okay. Good morning. On behalf of Gonzaga University School of Law, our faculty and alumni across the globe, and our Center for Civil and Human Rights, I am honored to offer a few remarks to help open this momentous gathering, even though regrettably I am unable to attend in person today. It is truly humbling to see so many distinguished academics and experts gathered here in the heart of the Renaissance, Florence, Italy, a city that for centuries has been a symbol of intellectual innovation and the pursuit of human dignity. The theme of our conference, Artificial Intelligence and Human Rights, the Future of Humanity in the 21st Century, addresses some of the most urgent and complex questions facing humanity today. As AI technologies advance rapidly and become increasingly integral In all aspects of life, we stand at a pivotal moment. The potential for AI to contribute to human flourishing is vast, yet it also poses profound challenges to human rights, ethical considerations, and the very nature of what it means to be human. At Gonzaga, we are guided by our Catholic, Jesuit, and humanistic traditions, which compel us to consider how we can humanize this growing technology, ensuring that its development and use prioritize the dignity of every person and promote justice for all. Our commitment to human rights and social justice compels us to engage deeply with the ethical and legal dimensions of AI, to advocate for policies that safeguard the vulnerable, and to consider the broader implications of these technologies on our shared humanity. This conference provides an exceptional opportunity for diverse perspectives to converge. We are joined today by experts from Italy, China, Turkey, Cyprus, Greece, Israel, South Africa, India, and the United States, among other countries. Their insights will help us navigate the complex landscape of AI and human rights from a global viewpoint, emphasizing both universal principles and the need for localized responses that respect cultural and legal differences. Our panels are thoughtfully designed to address key issues within the field. The first, challenges of AI on human rights, will explore how AI impacts fundamental rights such as privacy, freedom of expression, due process, and equality. We will look at the ways in which AI can either protect or undermine these rights, with particular attention to the most vulnerable populations. The second panel, Intersectionality between AI and Human Rights, brings together scholars from diverse backgrounds to examine how intersecting factors such as race, gender, disability, spirituality, culture, and socioeconomic status affect the experiences of individuals interacting with AI technologies. It's a vital discussion, as AI systems often reflect and perpetuate social biases with serious consequences for human rights. Finally, our third panel, International Law and Human Rights, will offer a global perspective on how international legal frameworks are adapting, or failing to adapt, to the challenges posed by AI. This discussion will be particularly important as we think about the future of global governance and cooperation in regulating AI to ensure it aligns with our shared human rights obligations across the globe in an era increasingly marked by disinformation, data sharing, and the flouting of international treaty obligations. Gonzaga University's commitment to these conversations is rooted in our mission. As a Jesuit institution, we are called to seek truth, promote justice, and prioritize the well-being of every individual. Our understanding of human rights is inseparable from our recognition of the inherent dignity of each person, regardless of nationality, race, or background. In our ever-connected world, AI technologies are reshaping how we engage with one another, how we access information, and even how we understand ourselves. These technologies cannot be separated from the ethical and moral considerations that lie at the heart of our human experience. As we engage with these important conversations, I urge us all to remember that AI is not just a tool. It is a force that shapes lives and societies. Its development and deployment must be guided by a commitment to human dignity and rights. It is only by placing human beings, rather than technology, at the center of our discussions that we can ensure AI serves humanity's highest aspirations and not its darkest fears. Thank you for your participation, your dedication to these critical issues, and your willingness to engage in this global conversation. I look forward to the insights that will emerge from our discussions and to the collective action we can take toward a future where AI truly serves the common good. I'm delighted that my friend and colleague, Interim Provost Dr. Mia Bertinoli, can attend today's event in person and further extend greetings and good wishes from all of us at Gonzaga University for a successful conference. The conversations that begin today will no doubt carry us into the future. forever tying us together in shared purpose and memory of today's special gathering. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Agnieszka, for expressing Dean Rooksby's comments. Very well done. Much better than a robot, I would say.
I tried really hard to build it.
Yeah, there were a few, you missed a few words, but that was a human problem. That's my point. So, following on not robot Dean Rooksby's comments, I'd like to express my gratitude and call up Dr. Mia Bertignoli, who is the interim provost of Gonzaga University, to share her remarks. It's a real pleasure to welcome Dr. Bertignoli here. She's been here before. Share one little personal anecdote. I met her first when her daughter was studying abroad here in February 2000. Wait for it, 20. So do the math. That was when, and she reminded me, her husband reminded me yesterday that the last things I said to them as they left here to go to Germany in late February 2020 was, bring out your documents because you might not be able to come back, because that was the beginning of the coronavirus thing that hit Italy before America. So those were difficult times, but thanks to the support of Mia and other provosts who have been at Gonzaga University before, this program enjoys a great amount of care and attention and support, not just financial, from the home campus that allows us to do what we do here for this program, for this conference, and for the nearly 700 students that come through Gonzaga and Florence every year, from undergraduates through adult learners. So, Mia, if you would come and say a few words, we would appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
I am also not a robot. And I didn't use ChatGPT, so I have handwritten notes to keep me on track this morning. So thank you so much for that warm welcome. And I send best regards from President Thane McCullough from Spokane, Washington, from all my colleagues at the campus of Gonzaga University in Spokane. And it is truly such an honor and a privilege to be here at this beautiful location, Gonzaga in Florence. You don't remember this, but I was on your search committee when you were in the running to be dean. And well, he was probably a little bit stressed by the whole process. But also, we chose exceptionally well. So really thrilled to be able to partner with him in this new way in my role as provost, and to be able to learn so much more, not only about Gonzaga and Florence, but about our School of Law and all the amazing people who are working for and with these organizations. So again, just such an honor to be with you here today. And also, I found out my daughter's known by the University of Idaho contingent that's here as well, because she's actually going into her 3L year at the University of Idaho in Moscow. Oh, thank you. I think so too. I think she's pretty cool. But even though she was only here for a short time, her memories of this place are just lasting, and she can't wait to have the opportunity to come back. So sharing photographs and selfies with all of her friends, and she sends her warm wishes as well. So again, thank you just so much for everyone, for the conference organization. I know what it takes to put on a conference. I don't know what it takes to put on a conference in another country. So we have a lot of help here on the ground, but we also have people who have done a lot of work remotely in preparation for this conference, and you can tell it's just so well organized, and thank you to everyone for your hard work on that. This truly is a really timely and important theme, and I'm just so pleased that this was what the conference organizers decided to focus on this year. The complexities and the potential contributions and the risks of AI on humanity are real, and so this is critically valuable. We, in fact, recently have developed an Institute for Informatics and Applied Technology at Gonzaga University to acknowledge just how important this is, and to help provide guidance and education and opportunities like this, not only for our students, but for faculty and staff as well, to learn more about the applications and also the importance of the ethical use of AI technologies. And we recently had a conference in the spring that was focused specifically on ethics of AI technologies, that brought together thoughtful people, industry leaders and partners from a variety of different locations to have these conversations about what are our responsibilities. And it truly is a matter of not only interdisciplinary and interinstitutional, but international cooperation that is really necessary to help guide the work and the thinking and the expertise that we're going to need in order to be able to apply this technology in a way that helps to support the common good. And we already know about some of the amazing applications of it, particularly in healthcare, early diagnosis of disease, individualized treatments, educational access. There's so many good things that come from AI. And at the same time, we know that there are significant risks to humanity. And so it is just so amazing that all of you are here together to bring your expertise, whether you are a poet or a historian or an architect or a physician who's going to be a lawyer, or, you know, no matter what area you come from. I'm a biologist. These are issues that we all need to grapple with together. And it is only in doing this work together that we're going to be able to help support humanity moving into the future. So once again, I'm just so grateful that you're all here. I'm grateful for the work of everyone who put this conference together. I can't wait to hear more and to learn more. I too am an early student of AI. I don't know as much about it as I probably should and will. And so, so glad that you're here contributing your time and your talents and your thoughtfulness to help support this really important work. So thank you all, and thank you to our hosts. Thank you to the organizers, to colleagues from Gonzaga and Florence and Gonzaga University. And thank you for allowing me to be here today. I appreciate it.
All right, well, that wraps up the introduction to. Okay. That just reminded me of a couple of announcements to make. Just so everyone knows, for their own information, we are doing a Facebook Live and a YouTube Live, so that this will be recorded and broadcast currently on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and it will be available recorded and on YouTube immediately after the conclusion of this event. So this is something that other people are following us, and we'll be able to see this time. And I know also considering also publishing the acts of the conference as well. So this is something that we hope is a good learning experience for all those here today, but also will become a document, both visual and written, for that can be incorporated into the algorithm, I suppose. So we're going to take a break now, and then we're going to get back with the work of the conference with our first panel. So we're coming up. We're caught up a little bit of time, so we'll start back here at 11. You have plenty of time to get the espresso machine back up and running, and be back and ready to go at 11 a.m. So it's about 20 minutes. Thank you.
How was dinner last night? Ronnie Rosenberg.
I have been asked to get a selfie. And you know, I'm running as well. Before I forget, is it okay if we take a picture? Because Yvonne said, you must send me a photo.
Guido.
That would be great.
Você faz a palavra,
Do you remember her? Oh, and you had to go online and teach them online. Oh, you did? Yeah.
It's painful.
Okay. Yeah.